Hello and welcome to the Healthy, Wealthy, Wise show. I'm your host, Corey Sievers, and in this particular show, in Healthy, we're going to be talking about sleep tips, some savvy sleep tips. You know, we have a bit of a sleep health epidemic that's going on right now, and so many Americans, Australians, and people around the world have trouble with their sleep. So we're going to give you some tips to help you sleep sounder. In Wealthy, we're going to be talking about 12 ways to market yourself and your business on a shoestring budget. And in Wise, we're going to be talking about really tips to help you break through to the next level. If you've been looking to achieve your goals, it's time to call the S.W.O.T team. Not the SWAT team you know, but the S.W.O.T team that we'll be talking about. Oh dear, lots to talk about here in the Healthy, Wealthy, Wise show. So again, if you're just joining us, do let us know where you're coming in from. We'd love to be able to say hi and talk to us in the comments about about any questions that you have or thoughts that you have along the way. So if we haven't met before, my name is Corey and I'm your host for the Healthy, Wealthy, Wise show. And here in the S.W.O.T team, we're all about helping you reach a higher level of health and lifestyle. So that's what we like to talk about here on the Healthy, Wealthy, Wise show. And so really, if you are new to what we do here in the S.W.O.T team, our community is all about really helping you reach that high level of health and wellness. And so when you connect in with the community, you'll have access to step-by-step action plans, innovative solutions, and all the guidance and support that you need to achieve your health and lifestyle goals. And so we have a whole range of wellness plans and programs, and our Sleep Sounder action plan is something that our community members have access to. But there's a whole range of different action plans and wellness programs to help you out. So I'm going to be really sharing with you just a little bit of a glimpse into some of the tips that we share in our Sleep Sounder action plan. So we're here to motivate, really to inspire you, to motivate and guide you to that higher level of wellness. And, we really believe in the concept that, like when we're dealing with sleep and everything, sleep helps you to optimize your health and lifestyle, really. And so when you don't sleep well, you just don't perform at your best. And so we believe in this whole issue of this concept of the illness-wellness continuum. You may not have insomnia as such, but you may have some certain things that interrupt your effective and quality sleep. So you may not have the disability of not being able to sleep, but you may have some of those early signs showing up. And, in our whole wellness paradigm, we don't just want to get you to, I can sleep through the night. We want to get you to that high level of wellness. And that means effective sleep. That means sleep that's restful, sleep that has you wake up feeling refreshed. And so lots of different stuff to share with you there. And then we've got even more stuff to share in Wealthy and Wise. And so if you're in a self-employed situation or the direct sales arena, or you're a small business operator, whatever, these 12 tips to help you market yourself and your business on a shoestring might be really helpful for you. So that's in Wealthy. And coming up in Wise, we'll be talking about calling the S.W.O.T team. And this is the concept of the S.W.O.T analysis and how, by creating a team around you that can help you to look at this, what you find out in your S.W.O.T, they can help you to break through to the next level. So all that and more here in the Healthy, Wealthy, Wise show. So we might just first of all jump on into talking a little bit about this whole issue of wellness and why we believe in what we believe here in the S.W.O.T team. And but first of all, I guess if there's something that you want to improve about your health and wellness, then we can definitely guide you there. Now, I mentioned before about sort of the warning signs and all that sort of thing. So, in a car, we have the things that flash up on the dashboard that alert us to the fact that there's something that's not quite right. And, often, well, what we've found is that many people don't really sort of realize that trouble sleeping is like a dashboard warning light related to your overall health and well-being. So it's something that we actually need to do something about. Maybe waking up through the night and not being able to get back to sleep again. That's another type of warning light that's going off. Waking up even after 8 hours of sleep and not feeling fully refreshed and ready to start the day. That's another warning light. And so we love what Dr. Molly Roberts says. Your body will start by whispering, then it'll start talking. And if you don't pay attention, it's going to start yelling and shouting, but then you have an illness. And so sleep patterns, poor sleep, sleep that's not restful, sleep that's not rejuvenative, these are all warning signs. And so the great thing is that if you are paying attention to this information because you've been struggling with sleep issues, or you just want to optimize sleep to slow aging and look and feel your best, then the great thing is that it's also a preventative measure. It helps you to prevent illness in the long run and disease. So important as we're getting underway here that anything that I'm going to be sharing during this particular session of Healthy reflects the personal research of myself and anyone that might be sharing in the comments, for example. So it's for educational purposes only, so should not be seen as medical advice. The information is general in nature, and so all individual health concerns have not been taken into account in any of the comments that I share. So any comments and experiences should not be interpreted as therapeutic claims or medical advice. If you have any questions as to the appropriateness of the information with regards to your own health, please do discuss this with your healthcare provider. That being said, we encourage you to take self-responsibility for your own well-being and learn more on this topic and complementary medicine in general. And the easiest way to do that is to simply tap in with our wellness community. So we'd love to know, how can we help you? Perhaps it's beyond sleep, but you might be listening to this information and you might have been tagged here by a friend or invited to have a listen to this by a friend or whatever. Then, if it's not really sleep that's your main issue, then chat with us. I'm sure we can help you reach that high level of wellness. And so one of the first ways to start, or the best ways to start, is to request an invitation into our Healthy, Wealthy, Wise Facebook group. It's just a great way of getting started and us getting to know you. It's a simple online survey that helps us to know exactly where you're at, and then we can really be able to direct you to the specific things that can help you the most. And that way, if you're part of our wellness community or even simply our Healthy, Wealthy, Wise group, we can tag you to specific information there that can really help you. So again, welcome to the show. Love to hear your thoughts and comments as we go along here on the Healthy, Wealthy, Wise show. But let's jump on into Healthy, and we'll talk a little bit about sleep. Lots to talk about. Well, we'd love to know, do you have challenges with sleep? What sort of things have you heard about helping you sleep? We're dealing with sleep issues here, and it's not the sort of as we're going through sleep tips, it's not a shot of brandy before bed. It's it's not a sleeping tablet to knock you out. It's not not some medication that just zaps you, because some of the downsides of those sorts of things you may get to sleep, but it hasn't necessarily been restful, rejuvenative, and anti-aging sleep. And that's what we want to help you to achieve. So all that and more as we're talking about sleep tips here, but we'd love to know your thoughts, your comments, what issues you've faced as far as dealing with the issue of sleep. All right, let's get underway here. And first of all, have a look at, let me just, all right. Okay, get organized here as we go through sleep tips. So, it's interesting that I mentioned before about the epidemic that's going on related to sleep. And some of the statistics that I saw is that at least half of Americans say that they suffer from insomnia, and nearly 9 million are using prescription medications of some sort. So it's, pretty scary when you look at the statistics there. So when we deal with those of us in this particular region, Australia, New Zealand, that sort of region, but it's estimated that 39.8% of Australians experience some form of inadequate sleep. So that's pretty surprising too. And the rate of use of sleeping tablets is a big concern for, for the community and for healthcare professionals. Now, in Australia, a study found that 81% of patients reporting a new problem of insomnia when they went to their doctor were simply given a sleeping tablet. So in other words, most people who have trouble sleeping, they're just given a sleeping tablet. And many of them stay on that for far too long. Many of the particular medications were only ever designed to get you through a certain issue in stress or whatever, helping you to sleep when you were having troublesome situations going on at home or in life or whatever. And so they're only ever designed to be used for maybe 3 weeks, but less than a month. And people are staying on this sort of medication for a consistent period of time. And that's scary. That's dangerous and scary. And unfortunately, there's still an overprescription of sleeping medication, with 81% of patients reporting being given the sleeping medication upon the first comment to their doctor that they can't sleep. So again, we're not looking holistically. As a population, people are not understanding the sorts of things that can be done to optimize their sleep patterns. So why does sleep matter so much? It's not just about the fact that you feel tired, but sleep is a very important pillar for all-round wellness. It improves your brain function. If you have proper restful sleep, you'll have better brain function. It'll aid in muscle recovery, boost your longevity, as I was mentioning before, help your hormones to be properly imbalanced, protect your heart, and even help you to lose excess fat and rebalance your whole body composition. So there's a bit of a disagreement, I guess, out there in researchers as to how much sleep you actually need. And so certainly for, a lot of people will talk about the fact that they feel like they need at least 8 hours, and some people say they can get by on 6 or less. And the challenge is that the concept of getting by or feeling good is very subjective. So sleep researchers have a bit of a troublesome time here in really looking at that. But, in terms of, we've talked about things from a skincare point of view, that researchers have shown that those who simply get less sleep, they've been able to measure poor skin, like a noticeable difference in the signs of aging in study participants. So when we take it away from some of the subjective things, how do you feel and all that sort of thing, there's no doubt that quality sleep matters. And so it's a question, there's a lot of questions still around about how much we need. So one interesting study that was done, the largest study ever conducted on sleep was with 1.1 million people, and it showed that quality, not quantity, was what mattered most. So they found that participants who slept only 6.5 hours, this is the interesting thing, they found that those who slept 6.5 hours actually lived longer than those who were sleeping in excess of 8 hours. Now, before you jump to some conclusions here and say, well, I'll just have to sleep less because I'm going to live longer, this is where science and studies and science-backed and all that sort of thing can bamboozle you, because they, again, digging deeper into that, they realized that it's possible. You can't have a causal relationship there. Wow. Those who did well on 6.5 hours sleep, they lived longer. Those who needed 8 hours or more didn't do quite as well. So sleep, therefore, must be the issue. No. When people started to try to interpret this, when the researchers were interpreting this, they were realizing that it's quite possible that those who are simply healthier in their fundamentals, their biochemistry, their body health, needed less sleep. And we've seen that with countless members of our community over the decades. Hundreds of people have said that, if not thousands, that they actually feel better now on less sleep. because we've dealt with the fundamentals. We have eliminated toxins and chemicals and allergenic foods that are interrupting their whole biochemistry and the way the body is supposed to function. And then we've put the good stuff in to help the body to function at its peak, really, and to rejuvenate overnight and for all the hormones to function properly. So it's a lot more than just sleep. It's what the body is able to do while you sleep. So how do we make sure that you're getting the best quality? Well, that's what these sleep tips are really all about. So if you have just joined us, Corey Sievers here from the S.W.O.T Team, and we will be dealing with sleep tips, some savvy sleep tips, really delving into our toolbox of sleep tips to find ways to help you sleep sounder. So first of all, the first tip is to work with your body and not against it. That's this is such an important one here, because so many people really, unfortunately, do work against their body in terms of effectively being able to rejuvenate your system and optimize your health and look and feel your best. So sleep tip number one is to really work with your body. Okay, so what do we mean by that? What are some of the tips that I can give you to help you work with your body? So, well, first of all, to focus, in our community, we say wellness, disease prevention, anti-aging, looking and feeling your best can be as easy as 1, 2, 3. Number one is to decrease exposure to toxins from all sources. Number two is increase nutrition. And number three is to optimize the systems of the body, including your 7 detox pathways and your mitochondrial function and your microbiome and all of these sorts of underlying systems that you'll hear us referencing plenty of times in our wellness programs. And so if we correct some of the underlying fundamentals, do the 1, 2, 3, we notice that people sleep better. So they don't have to take specific things to optimize sleep, herbs and adaptogens that I will talk about. They don't need that because they simply start sleeping better. And that's what we really want for you, not to have a trouble sleep, not to need things to knock yourself out and everything, but to actually have your body function in its proper rhythm. So another thing that's really important to work with is to detox every now and then. So we have found that people, when they go through our detoxification program, say that suddenly they're sleeping better. And there's merit in this, because if we can draw the toxins out of the body and they stop impacting our mental function, our mitochondrial function, and all of this sort of thing, our hormonal function, then our body's able to more, function at its best and shut down at night and follow the typical circadian rhythm. So a detox could be worthwhile. Another tip that's working with your body when I mentioned circadian rhythm is to set a formal bedtime and a formal sort of schedule of sleep and of bedtime and wake time too. And that means even on the weekends. So many of our community members, for example, used to have to sleep in like on Saturday and Sunday to catch up on the sleep because they were exhausted from the week. And yet now they don't, because we've corrected some of the underlying issues. They don't have that problem anymore. They're not waking up feeling exhausted. So they don't need to sleep in on the weekend. And so we want that to be you too. So detoxing your body, dealing with the fundamentals can really help. And then just set a regular schedule for sleep and wake time. And because this helps to set a bit of hormonal entrainment, it helps to balance out your hormones, and your body does begin operating on a certain cycle. And anyone who's worked shift work, that it's hard. It's not doing the hours. It's not waking up early and going to bed early that's the issue. It's the swapping and changing consistently that wrecks things. That's the thing. It's the wrecking of your natural cycle and not being able to follow a circadian rhythm as such. So another issue for you night owls, now I will talk a little bit about the fact that there are some different what's called chronotypes, but for you night owls, the problem here is when you stay up past 11 p.m. at night, there is a natural cortisol spike that can happen. And that's where, many times you may have experienced this. You think, why is it when I'm exhausted and it's past midnight, I suddenly can't sleep? Whereas if I go to bed at 10 o'clock and I'm not even tired, I can sleep. It's your hormones. And it can be after 11 p.m., you can have a cortisol spike that can be enough to wake you up and sort of keep you awake for too long. So if you can get to bed 11 o'clock, 11 p.m., definitely better because of that natural cortisol spike that happens after 11. Excuse me. All right, so another tip there as far as working with your body is to get relaxed at nighttime, sort of to have somewhat of a calming down sort of ritual at night. And that might mean reading a book, or as we'll talk about when we get to light, maybe it's listening to a podcast or listening to something to help get you to sleep, to work with your body rather than being in front of bright light. So more on that in just a moment. So exercise during the day really can help you to sleep at night. So make sure you're getting plenty of exercise, but then avoid exercise 2 hours before bed unless it's stretching or yoga or something that's relaxing. Okay, so 2 hours before bed, it's really important to, even if it's just optimizing your all-round well-being, to sort of create a bit of a ritual at nighttime to help you have effective sleep. Many times the challenge is that many of us, me included, with the odd hours that I've held in years gone by, we think of sleep as just something we have to do to sort of recover. And we don't think of it as a special time to help our body to actually rejuvenate and do the repair work. So really start to think of it like that, and look after your sleep and protect your sleep. And it's not meaning the hours of sleep. We're talking about protecting the quality of sleep here. So practicing relaxation and meditation at nighttime to prepare for sleep is really, really good too. And preparing your bedroom so that it's not a mess and all that sort of thing. Some people say that they sleep better just because they make their bed every day and it feels good getting into it. Some people say some of our community members said that they started to sleep better when they got rid of the disorganization in their bedroom. So work with your body and the natural rhythms of your body rather than against it. So that's number one tip to follow. Number one tip's full of all of those extra tips that I've got there, but the concept is working with your body, not against it. Now, sleep tip number 2 is to avoid junk light, especially at nighttime. So for those of you who remember the 80s movie, Steven Spielberg movie, Gremlins, the little gremlin would say, "No, bright light, bright light." Well, this is no bright light for you, especially at nighttime, because that can totally wreck your circadian rhythm and stop the production of melatonin. So many people reach for melatonin supplements and all of this sort of thing, and yet they haven't taken care of the things that help melatonin secretion. So not looking at bright lights at nighttime, not staring at a computer screen, not dealing with not checking your phone till all hours of the night. So this junk light is a huge issue. So I'm actually going to delve into it a little bit here. So really, really important to check your tech. Okay, this is a bit of a tip for you. So tip number 2 here, avoid junk light and make sure you check your tech. And so for a start, devices, your mobile devices, your lights and bulbs. I'll talk a little bit about bulbs. Reading before bed, for example, it might be soothing and everything, but be careful that you're not just reading on a digital device, and make sure that you're reading with just a directed lamp or whatever, and a book. Old school, pick up a book with black ink. Do you know that even from an eyesight point of view, reading a book with black ink is better for your eyesight than trying to stare at a digital device and everything, because there's a lot of linkages with the digital device and macular degeneration. So we're doing too much of that digital screens and blue light and everything at nighttime rather than simply reading a book. The great thing about digital devices, though, at nighttime is instead of reading, listen to an audiobook in a darkened room. So you can still be, you can sit there by candlelight and listen to an audiobook. So, and it'll be better for your sleep cycle. So there you have it. Anyway, so listening to something, reading a typical book, turning the lights down, really, really helpful at nighttime. So there are some apps that you can put on your phone. Like, for example, use the bedtime app on your Apple device. If you have an Android device, I'm sure there's other situations that you can use on those devices. For example, Flux is the app that can turn the blue light down on a computer. I think they also have an app for Android to turn off the blue light, and really it changes it to a warmer spectrum to eliminate most of the blue light and bring in more of the yellows and that sort of thing. And that can help you to sleep at nighttime, or at least really make sure that you're not wide awake due to the bright light. See, the challenge with the bright light is it's sort of triggering us to mess up our circadian rhythm and believe it's bright and daylight hours. And so this is one of the biggest issues today for both our eyesight, as well as our sleep patterns and our hormonal balance and all of that sort of thing. So so justgetflux, I think, .com is where you can get that particular product. Let me just see whether I can show you. I'll just go and show you on this device. At the moment, it's deactivated, but this is what it looks like up here in the corner. So this is it's currently off, and so when you go, you can actually set the color effects, for it. And I have it set to automatically follow the typical. At the moment, it's been deactivated to do this, so I'm messing my rhythm up a little bit by being here and doing the Healthy Wealthy Wise show. But and so so that's one tip for you. And another tip too, what I might do is show you. A lot of people have asked about this recently, and so I'm just going to show you how simple it is to use your mobile device to switch that across. So I'm going to bring this up here. And so when you're on your Apple device, for example, and you can scroll up, you can actually use the brightness indicator there. Looks like I've disappeared. So if you simply go to settings, so I'm going to go into settings. I'm going to simply select brightness. You've got the... Anyway, you'll be able to work that out with that across the sleep tip number 2 there across the middle there. So once you go into the brightness settings here, you can select night shift. And you can actually select night shift from whatever time you like. I mean, typically though, the proper thing to do would be to actually go with sunset to sunrise. Now, this may take a bit of getting used to for you because it does make it very, very yellow as you're getting into the nighttime. So, but I mean, that's again, the whole point is to help you to, to really not have the bright light late at nighttime. So it actually gets warmer and warmer as the night goes by. So that's quite helpful to actually use night shift. So again, that is simply under display and brightness, and you simply activate night shift, and you can actually make it warm or less warm and all that sort of thing. Adjust the yellow there. I just have it set to more warm, and it sort of tends to tone it down. Same thing as Flux does, but that can make such a huge difference to your ability to sleep at nighttime if you do struggle with sleep issues, because again, the bright light is messing with your whole circadian rhythm. So make sure you have a look at that. You can also on your TV, if you're watching TV at nighttime, you can turn on the energy saver. That can make a huge difference. It just tones down the brightness there. You can get glasses. You can get blue blocking glasses. They can be clear. Baxter Blue is a brand that just has clear lenses, or lenses with a bit of prescription, so they're ones that we recommend. And you can get the tinted ones as well, like yellow tint, that can really block out the blue light. So if you really want to take it to the next level. So also that raises as well EMF at nighttime. When you think about your bedroom, so if you look at a typical double sort of bedroom, there's PowerPoint on either side of the bed, and people have devices plugged in everywhere, and iPads and iPhones, and then a TV on the wall, and LED lights at the side, and all that sort of thing. And these electromagnetic frequencies will mess with your ability to effectively sleep. It's interesting. There's so many people. Look, there's a big thing going on right now about the 5G technology and what it can do to you and everything. And many of the people that are fighting against 5G, if I was to look in their bedroom, they probably don't turn their phone to airplane mode. They probably have LED bulbs. They probably don't have any technology. And we can point you in the right direction here in the S.W.O.T Team as to technologies that can help to offset the negative effects of EMF. So many of these people that are rightly worried about the technology, the 5G technology, they're not actually taking any actions on what can be changed right now. That might be you. I was like that. I didn't realize I didn't have trouble sleeping, but I didn't really think about it, that it was only from helping other people with some of their challenges and their health challenges and going through all of these lists of things. Do you do this? Do you turn your mobile phone off at night? Where's your Wi-Fi transmitting from? Where's your TV and all that sort of thing? That I realized that I was doing a lot of these naughty things. And so then I'm not optimizing my well-being by not being conscious of that. So, if you're not using your Wi-Fi at night, why not switch it off? If you don't want to have to get up, then you can get simple remotes that are radio frequency, and you can just sort of click the button, turn it off at the wall, get up in the morning and turn it back on again. So that restricts at least the amount of electromagnetic frequencies that you're being exposed to. We can't get rid of anything in this day and age. It's a convenience that we all want, but we can certainly lessen the load, just like we can lessen the toxic load on our body by living clean and changing our diet, those sorts of things as well. So avoiding bright light, especially the last couple of hours before bed, really, really important. And creating a dark room or getting a face mask like this. So this is an inexpensive face mask. You can get all sorts of things. This one's a padded one that sort of makes it easy for you to open your eyes and still have it quite comfortable. And that's actually very good too from a relaxation point of view, from an eyesight. Opening your eyes and staring into the black is very, very relaxing and healthful for your eyes. So that's good for that sort of iPad. Not that iPad, eye mask. That's what it is. It can really help you even for that, to improve your eyesight, just to have that relaxation. And that's why I talk about palming and those sorts of things in some of the tips that we talk about from an eyesight point of view. All right, so look, if you're going to go through any sleep tips, this eliminating the junk light, and especially at nighttime, would be one huge one to take advantage of, and very simple. So since we're on the light situation here, so cleaning up EMF, all that sort of thing. Another one that's worthwhile mentioning here, and I dug out some bulbs. This is an incandescent light bulb, the old-fashioned original Edison bulb. And so these are almost impossible to come by because they're not considered energy efficient. And while it's great to do things from an energy point of view, these were the most natural and healthier for our eyes, and really better all around as far as the frequency that they emitted, the light spectrum that they emitted. And so as we've developed and got so much more technological, unfortunately we've got a lot less healthy. So then we moved to things such as these little fellas, typical fluorescent lights, or these fluorescent lights that will plug into a typical socket. They're not good for our eyes or for our circadian rhythm either. They don't emit a frequency of light that is very good, and they also have electromagnetic frequency properties that are negative as well. So then we move to the next thing that everybody is changing to, and that is the LED. This is probably the worst type of light that you can put into your house. And yet you've been told to put it all in there because it's energy efficient. And yet the worst, linked to macular degeneration, certainly bad as far as your sleep. So LED is not good, and that's the challenge. We've got LED devices that we're dealing with. We've got LED lights, and not only the frequency is bad, but they're bad for our eyes, bad for our sleep. So chances are, if you looked around your house, you've got LEDs everywhere. Okay, and so what do you use? Well, this is where you reach for a halogen bulb. So this looks like a typical incandescent bulb, but you can see, if you can't really see, you can see, just see inside there. It's actually a halogen bulb. So this does save energy, and this emits less of a frequency that's less damaging to the cells of your body and your mitochondria, and less damaging to your eyes, and less damaging to your sleep cycle too. So halogen bulbs, okay? So look up halogen bulbs. You can get them readily and get rid of these junky LEDs. In your workplace, there's probably not much you can do. You've probably got LEDs or fluorescents, but you know, at least at nighttime in your home, do what you can to reduce the junk light. All right, so again, blackout curtains, all of those sorts of things, really, really helpful. Get Flux, bedtime app, all really, really helpful. So that's sleep tip number 2. Avoid the junk light, especially at night. Now, sleep tip number 3 is to get the supplements and nutrition. So get the nutrients that your body needs. And number 1 on the list is trace minerals. Now, you may have heard of magnesium helping you to sleep. And again, this is it certainly does. Potassium helps as well. There are a few different minerals that help, and that's the challenge. Many people try to isolate. Oh, I can't sleep at night, so I need magnesium. And then you take too much magnesium, and then that wrecks the balance of the other minerals in your body. And so when you really understand how minerals work, we don't want to take too much of one because that can cause an imbalance of others. So what we really need is a broad spectrum trace mineral drink daily. And the reason that we need that is because, unfortunately, our diet is deficient in minerals. Even if you're eating a perfect organic diet, you're still not getting the same sorts of nutrients that you were getting in your diet 100 years ago. And so this is also messing with our sleep and wake cycle because many of the hormones in your body are dependent on the actions of minerals for their proper secretion. And so we have found with our community members, countless community members have found that when they just start supplementing with trace minerals, and if they have trouble with sleeping at night, they take trace minerals morning and night, they're able to sleep better, wake feeling more refreshed, get sick less often. So this is just simple as this, easy to take. Trace mineral drink, just like that. Now this is the one that we use here in the Australian region. It's just looks like a dark color, doesn't taste like anything really. In many parts of the world, we have a red mineral drink that we use here in the S.W.O.T Team that has other fruit blends and vitamins and that mixed in with it as well. So sometimes that's not as ideal for nighttime use. Some people, but again, you can just take more through the day and that will make sure you're not deficient at nighttime to shut your body down. But for those of you in the Australian region, if you have trouble sleeping, this at nighttime is just so important. Just so important. It will really help you to get to sleep. The great thing, because it's not a tranquilizer or a sedative herb or anything, it's helping your body to function properly. So countless members of the community have said that when they started taking minerals, taking more trace minerals, they were able to get to sleep, they woke more refreshed, they didn't get exhausted during the day. Anecdotal evidence, yes, but again, you just pay attention. The number one thing in science is observation. You observe something going on and then you hypothesize whether it can work for you. So, a lot of people nowadays bang on about science-backed medicine and everything. Well, okay, there are no black sheep. As soon as you see one black sheep, that's science-backed, that's evidence-backed. So what people mean by evidence-backed is we've got to have countless studies that go on for decades before anyone can take action. Well, I'm sorry. Countless members of our community have just taken some minerals and they sleep through the night. You could try it too. See whether test it for yourself. Test the hypothesis for yourself and see whether we can help you start sleeping better. Science. Interesting. Anyway, I digress here on the Healthy Wealthy Wise show. So certainly magnesium can, if you're really struggling, magnesium can help you nod off more deeply. But again, we recommend more of a broad spectrum there. Many people swear by an Epsom salts bath at nighttime because of that magnesium absorption through the skin that can happen with Epsom salts. And so that can be beneficial, but if you have to do that every single night just to be able to get a good night's sleep, that's going to get frustrating after a while. And so all of the hormones, neurotransmitters in the body, all need minerals to be properly able to function. So your body just can't shut down and get restful sleep without enough minerals. So another nutrient that's really important is essential fatty acids. And we, in particular, in this region, recommend krill oil. But any oily fish oils, but oily fish like sardines and krill and salmon, they're full of the brain-boosting omega-3 fatty acids. And research certainly has shown that this improves sleep, helps you fall asleep faster. So all of that really important. Also good for general brain development, brain health, all of that sort of thing. Prevention of neurodegenerative disorders, etc. So supplementing with krill oil, really, really helpful. If you have trouble with sleep, you probably want at least, say, 3 capsules a day of krill oil because you've got to correct the issue. So if you're just generally doing preventative maintenance sort of thing, maybe 1 a day is all you need, but you're going to have to dose up if sleep is a challenge for you because, again, it's a warning sign that something's not functioning right within your body. Another thing here too, vitamin D. Many people don't get enough sunshine during the day. That sunshine first thing in the morning, the light of the early morning sun really wakes up our whole system and helps us to be more in flow with the whole circadian rhythm that we're supposed to have, and then being able to shut the light down at nighttime and then be out in the bright light in the middle of the day is both good from the point of view of our whole hormonal system, but also vitamin D production. And so if most people are deficient in vitamin D nowadays, chances are you're deficient in vitamin D. And so that actually interrupts your quality of sleep. So even if you're getting sleep, it can interrupt the quality of your sleep. So, I use on the phone an app called D-Minder to help track sun. So I try to get out and get a bit of sun and track it so that I don't get too much or don't get burnt or any of that sort of thing. And that's really helpful to help to optimize your vitamin D. And then you can also, if you wanted to, get a vitamin D test, and you can input your vitamin D levels into the app, and it can help you to effectively track your levels and get safe sunlight exposure. Couple that with perhaps some supplementation if you need it, if you're in a region of the world that doesn't get enough sunshine, etc. So as I mentioned before, even B vitamins can help because B vitamins can decrease your stress levels, and that helps you fall asleep. Doing a detox is really important as well. Many of the the challenge is that many of the the foods that we can eat, that if you're not eating the savvy foods, the eat savvy diet, then these can be inflammatory and full of pesticide residues and artificial chemicals and toxins, and this can interfere with your whole body system and ability to fall asleep and get restful sleep as well. So now we'll jump on to talking here, still in getting the nutrients you need, but you could utilize things such as green superfoods. So many of the green superfoods with the magnesium-rich things such as, all the chlorella and spirulina. These are naturally high in chlorophyll and these sorts of things. These can really help your body to shut down as well and produce neurotransmitters and GABA and all of the things that can help you to sleep. So green superfoods during the day really help. Not at nighttime necessarily, but getting them during the day. So leads us to essential oils. Now, essential oils, there's a large body of evidence really looking at essential oils for their ability to reduce stress and anxiety and help you to sleep better. So, for example, in a 2017 study, they compared the effect of aromatherapy versus acupressure type massage on the ability to get quality sleep. And the researchers found that a blend of sleep-promoting essential oils actually worked more effectively to improve both sleep, amount of sleep, and quality of sleep as compared to acupressure was what they were testing it against. Now, they also found that a blended oil was much more effective than a single oil. And this is the thing that many of the times single oils don't have the same holistic beneficial effect on the body. So a few of the oils mentioned were things such as lavender, well known for its ability to relax you, Roman chamomile, ylang-ylang, and geranium. So there's a heap of different studies around lavender's effectiveness for sleep, increasing sleep amounts, elevating daytime alertness as well, and very effective for people that do suffer from insomnia. Geranium has a very floral scent and works to tone down the lavender. So geranium and lavender are really good together. But it has been shown to reduce stress levels and anxiety as well and produce a calmer effect at nighttime ready for sleep. Ylang-ylang can alleviate stress and anxiety and has been shown to help people fall asleep faster. Roman chamomile is very well known for its hypnotic properties, so that can promote relaxation and help induce sleep. And so we actually recommend a cream here, especially that's very popular amongst women, because most of those oils are also beneficial for PMS and menopausal symptoms and all that sort of thing. So they have a dual effect of helping you, especially ladies. They're helping you with PMS and menopausal symptoms, as well as achieving more restful sleep. So very effective to use that at night if you do suffer from sleep challenges. So then we jump on into stress-relieving nutrients and adaptogens. And we actually have an article on the Healthy, Wealthy, Wise blog on the 4 stress-busting nutrients. And so, these same nutrients are really powerful for helping you to relax and calm down and get restful sleep. So I'll go through some of the benefits of those herbs. You can read more on the blog. That's 4 stress-busting nutrients. But I'll go through just some of the benefits of some of those related to the quality of sleep. So valerian is one herb that we talk about there that promotes tranquility and improved sleep. And there's a number of compounds within valerian that do help to promote restful sleep. So research suggests that valerian root may reduce the amount of time it takes to fall asleep, as well as improve the quality and quantity of sleep. One particular study in adults with insomnia found that a single dose of valerian allowed them to achieve deeper sleep and 36% faster. Additionally, the time spent in deep sleep increased during 14 days of taking valerian. So therefore, not only did it have a notable effect, but it had an improving effect from taking it for an extended length of time. And so that's why these 4 stress-busting nutrients are something that we have routinely recommended for people who do struggle with getting to sleep at nighttime. So certainly because they're adaptogenic, it means that you can, if you struggle with stress during the daytime, you can use it during the daytime in acute stress or even chronic stress, or you can simply take it at nighttime to help you to deal with that and just relax and calm down. So that's valerian root. So another thing too, the research showed that valerian may also help people who have insomnia, and that are trying to come off the benzodiazepines, which are the problematic sleeping tablets. Okay, so they saw significant improvements in sleep quality for people that were struggling to come off benzodiazepines after just 2 weeks of taking valerian. So then we move on to St. John's wort, and that St. John's wort, has some people, because it's most widely written about for stress and anxiety and depression. So let's just take clinical depression off the table. So we're not even arguing about that, because some people say, oh, you can't take that at the same time as this. Well, let's just take that off the table and say, right, you're just an everyday person who's struggling with stress and getting to sleep. St. John's wort is exceptional because it stimulates the GABA receptor, a key gateway for sleep-inducing chemicals in the brain. So it also stimulates the production of serotonin. So again, lots of different benefits to this, but it's been well studied for its ability to help you calm down and get more restful sleep. Okay, so then it moves on to something that's a little bit different that you may not have heard of, and it's called lactium. Now, lactium is a milk-derived biopeptide complex, and so it's one of the branded name ingredients for these biopeptides. But lactium itself was developed in France, and it's really the amino acid chains, these biopeptides extracted from cow's milk, and they act on the GABA receptors, the GABA receptors. And so lactium improves sleep, it reduces stress and cortisol levels while inducing relaxation and improving your mental function as well. In people with problems sleeping, lactium improved sleep quality and time to fall asleep after 2 weeks, and daytime dysfunction from the impacts of poor sleep patterns after 4 weeks. So it helped with the whole sleep issue in less than 2 weeks, and helped with notable changes in ability to cope and daytime function after 4 weeks. So particularly good when taken with trace minerals, by the way, and it's often combined with other herbs, and so and that's why we recommend it in this particular blend. And so this was originally really studied by the fact that they noticed that there must be something that's in milk and breast milk and all that sort of thing, because they noticed the calmness that comes upon, for example, a baby when they're breastfeeding. And many people just say, it's just because they're breastfeeding and everything. But when scientists really looked into it, it was actually the high amounts of this biopeptide, this lactium, that sends a message to the brain that's sort of like a just relax, calm down. And so many of us today actually need that same message. We need the relax, chill, dude, calm down. You'll be right. So, and ashwagandha is another adaptogenic herb that's often used that we use in an anti-aging formula, and very good for all-round well-being and stamina and all that sort of thing. But it's also very good for all-round sleep. Now, it's a popular one for stress relief, for endurance, for general balance, and reducing cortisol secretion, and actually really quite good for jet lag, and also for the baby blues, not being able to sleep when you have a young child. So sleep very good for dealing with sleep deprivation. So that's ashwagandha. And so many herbalists really believe that this is the mum's herb, because it really does help with helping you get through the day and yet not have the impact of sleep deprivation and stress and all that sort of thing. So that was some nutrients that you need, and essential oils and all of these sorts of things that can help you just to calm down. And now in our Sleep Sounder action plan, we sort of put together a bit of a formula to help you to sort of just have a bit of a ritual at night time to calm yourself down and get good quality sleep. All right. Number 4, sleep tip number 4 is to relax and chill. And the chill is probably not what you think it's going to be, but meditation and relaxation techniques at nighttime can make such a difference. So yes, we can get to bed at a reasonable hour. We can turn down the lights and all that sort of thing. But if you can get into the habit pattern of being able to calm yourself down and switch off, and it's a practiced thing, mindfulness, meditation, practice thing. So many people actually say, look, I'm tired at nighttime. I just can't turn my mind off. It's just racing. That means that there could be some nutritional things going on there, so the nutrition could make a difference. But it also means that you're unable to just calm your mind, and that's a practiced skill. So practicing relaxation, meditation, breathing, mindfulness, those sorts of things at nighttime, even using some of the apps that are out there like Headspace and other meditation type apps that are free, could be really helpful for you just to learn to switch off all the thoughts before bed and get into that more restful sleep. Countless people, high-performing people, have said that the ability to just switch off and let go of their thoughts, meditate, calm themselves, relax at a moment's notice wherever, has been really helpful in them being high-performance individuals. So that's relax and chill. And chill, yeah, that's about chill from a personality point of view. But believe it or not, cooler weather helps you sleep better. So the optimal, studies have shown that optimal sleeping temperature for the room is somewhere between 18 and 20 degrees Celsius. And so, that's many people have their house too warm in the wintertime, in the colder climates. And many people have, like here in this particular region of the world, that's possibly the temperature that the room is at nighttime. And then people have blankets piled upon themselves. And that actually does not allow the body to sleep effectively, because in essence, what happens is a drop in body temperature allows you to get to sleep. So although it's quite often talked about, have a relaxing hot bath before bed, in actual fact, a cold shower is better for many people. Or at least perhaps have the warm shower and then try to go to sleep without the covers or just with a light sheet, so that your body temperature drops in that process of going to sleep, and you'll be out to it. Okay, and so if you wake up in the middle of the night and you're a bit cold, you can pull over the blanket or whatever, but you're actually going to just helps you sleep better. Just saying. I like my cold exposure. Yes, indeed, I do like my cold exposure. But and you'll find that, by the way, if you do some cold thermogenesis training and get used to the cold, you'll find that you don't feel the cold at nighttime. And so you might just sleep with just a sheet on in the wintertime. That's what I do. Just a sheet. And that's because I just like the something over me, really. And so I don't feel it. But what you can do is you can sleep with your whole body sort of not under a sheet or under a blanket or whatever. But even if you just have something over your feet. So studies have shown that if you have the extremities warm or your feet warm, then and the rest of your body a bit cooler, you drop off to sleep quicker. Interesting stuff. So, all right. So that's some relax and chill at nighttime. And let's move on now and deal with the fifth and final tip, and that's to eat savvy and be savvy. So, what you eat affects your sleep. If you're having toxic inflammatory foods, it's not going to help your all-round health. It's not going to help your sleep. So your brain is your brain is essentially your fattest organ. So getting high quality fats in your diet and eliminating the inflammatory seed oils, really, really important to optimize your brain function. Okay, so also too much sugar and too much sweets at nighttime, dessert and everything, can dump your blood sugar, and then you can end up not sleeping well because your body's struggling with blood sugar ups and downs. And so you can wake up because of that. And so because you've not trained your body to have a steady flow of energy and be able to burn fat, which it naturally will want to do at nighttime. So your body will draw upon glycogen stores from the liver during sleep. But also there's no reason why you can't be burning fat. But you're not as likely to burn fat if you haven't become fat adapted. And that's why we recommend erring towards more of a low carbohydrate ketogenic style diet, that still might include some healthy carbohydrates that are nutrient rich, such as some fruits and some tubers and all those sorts of things. So you're not necessarily going off all carbohydrates, but that can really make a difference. So following the Eat Savvy diet can make such a difference because you're getting the right micronutrients, the right macronutrients, eliminating the inflammatory things, helping to clear out your brain of all these inflammatory things. And by the way, there's a system that your brain goes through of literally brainwashing, especially if you of drawing all these toxins and everything out. If your diet's healthy, if you clean up your diet, and then you avoid eating like between 2 to 4 hours leading up to bedtime, not because of fat loss or anything. That's not necessarily true. Some of that about you can't eat late at night. But actually, your brain needs that time. You need to be digesting your food so that your brain can do its brainwashing. And this is because this is known as the glymphatic system, not the lymphatic system, but the glymphatic system is part of the brain, and the really simplification here, allowing the brain to pass nutrients, to get rid of toxins, and even even studies have shown that it can reduce, making sure that you're looking after your glymphatic system, not eating toxic foods, not eating too late at night, can really even help with the long-term prevention of the buildup of amyloid plaque, which is linked to Alzheimer's disease. So we want to give ourselves a brainwashing, and our brain can't wash itself out if we eat too much of the wrong foods too late at night. But if you do struggle with waking up during the night because you're hungry, then a couple of things that you can do. So again, if you don't struggle with waking up, then you don't want to just do what I'm about to tell you, because it's unnecessary. You're better off to have your body do the brainwashing. But if you do struggle with waking up at night because you're hungry or whatever, and you're not able to sleep through, a teaspoon of honey mixed with MCT oil can really make a huge difference. So the raw honey, by the way, it hardly works the same with cooked honey. So raw honey, not stirred into tea, because that can heat it up and wreck it as well. It appears to work particularly well with the liver glycogen store. So it helps you to create that alongside the MCT oil can help you create sort of stable energy through the night if you're someone that does struggle with blood sugar imbalance issues. So again, if you follow the Eat Savvy diet, you start to balance your blood sugar, you'll start to find that you'll get on top of all of that anyway. So getting plenty of fat at dinner time, really, really important. Priming your system with good quality proteins will also make a huge difference as well. So there you have it. There's a whole bunch of sleep tips to help you to get to sleep faster and wake up more refreshed. Another tip you might want to look at is your chronotype. And this is the sleep doctor, what's his name? Dr. Michael Bruce. He actually has an online quiz that helps you to work out your chronotype, whether you're a bear, a lion, a wolf, or what's the other one? Bear, lion, wolf, or a dolphin. And, if you've ever wondered why you do better at different times of day, it's because of your particular chronotype. So you might want to look up that information. If you've never been a morning person, or you do better at nighttime, that can have a relationship to your chronotype. So interesting research. You can change your chronotype. So I do wonder whether it's more about how you've optimized your whole biophysiology and everything, and whether you really have a specific set type, or whether it's just the way you've entrained your body to be. I don't know, but his research is certainly interesting. You might want to look up that, Dr. Michael Bruce, the sleep doctor. So there you have it, 5 tips for sleep. And that was a bumper session, certainly, when I brought up some extra tips that I wasn't expecting. So there we have it. All right, let's jump on and talk a little bit about Wealthy now. And we're going to be talking about marketing yourself and your business in this particular topic. So jumping on into Wealthy, yes, we are going to be talking about 12 ways to market yourself on a shoestring budget. And so this is whether it's yourself or your business. If you're self-employed, a small business owner, or maybe in the direct sales or sales arena, this can help you to really understand what you can do to market yourself on a shoestring. All right. Number one here, 12 ways to market yourself on a shoestring budget, and that's to craft an engaging elevator pitch. Craft an engaging elevator pitch. This is your 30-second commercial, and it's spicing it up a bit. Essentially, as a self-employed person, or in whatever way you find yourself, even in the job market today, you're going to be marketing yourself all the time, wherever you are, whoever you are. So you need a compelling elevator pitch, a 30-second commercial, we often like to call it. So something that's easy to remember, quick to share, that really benefits the person that's listening and really gives them an idea of that what you do is an opportunity for them. So research shows that the average adult attention span is about 6 to 8 seconds. So it doesn't give you a lot of time to grab someone's attention, but you've got to do that straight away, and you can successfully engage them by having a powerful wow elevator pitch. So just an example here of, because you're going to be meeting people all the time. So this is just so, often we think of all the external things we can do to market when we're meeting people every day. And what do you say about what you do? So, you might be an accountant, for example. As I said, that you might be working, you might be self-employed, you might have a small business, you might be in sales, direct sales, or whatever. Coming up with a 30-second commercial is really, really important. If you're in an employment situation, it's still good to be able to practice this. So, for example, you might be at a party and someone says, well, what do you do? And you say, I'm an accountant. Well, that's great, but it doesn't sound very interesting, does it? And so if you can have, well, you know how many business owners and people struggle to know what to do to optimize their business. I'm an accountant who focuses on cash flow management for small business owners or something. I'm just making that up. It's like starting with the benefit. Well, you know how many people struggle with. Okay, so you might be a hairdresser. Well, you know how many women struggle with knowing what is the best style for their face shape. I'm a hairdresser, and I specialize in helping people optimize the style for them. I don't know, whatever it is for you. The whole technique of saying, well, you know how, means that you're stating something that is sort of a common complaint or a common question, and that's immediately relatable. So practice that and think about it. How can you apply that tactic to your elevator pitch so that you don't just say, I'm a hairdresser, I'm a teacher, I'm an accountant, I'm in the wellness industry. So how do you spice it up a bit? Now, tip number 2 to market yourself on a shoestring is shoe leather. Shoe leather. Now, this I got from Mark Burris, and he's an Australian businessman, founder of Wizard Home Loans, and he's now the chairman of Yellow Brick Road, which is a wealth management firm. And you may have seen him on The Apprentice. The Apprentice Australia was up for one season, and he did that. And he was sharing, I got the chance to see him at an event, and he was sharing the story of, I think it was a mentor of his that talked about this, that, the way he succeeded, and he just called it shoe leather. And what he meant was getting out there and talking to people. Burn the pavement, walk the pavement, think locally. What's going on in your community? How can you be of service to others? How can you get out there and get yourself and your brand recognized by the people in your communities, in the general community? So I personally did this in my early 20s, running a service business. I did the shoe leather to real estate agents, and just went around all around the city, talking to real estate agents in their office about the fact that I can help them find tradies and all that sort of thing. So I did it with a cleaning business as well. We did it initially to launch our wellness seminars that we were doing back in the early 90s as well. Shoe leather. It certainly works, and it's very good for local area marketing. So see what you can do there, and it just takes your time. Number 3 is collaborate. What non-competitive businesses can you put together a bit of a synergistic relationship with? So when you collaborate with non-competitive businesses, it's a win-win. You can do coupons, flyers, reciprocal website links, promos, do social media win-win type of things here, but you're going to end up reaching new people by doing that. So collaborate. And what I mean by a non-competitive business is if you're in many people, so, if you're working, we work with people in the direct sales and wellness arena and that sort of thing in our Savvy Home Business division. And many people think, for example, of some of the supplements we work with, and they think, I'm going to talk with naturopaths. And it's like, no, they're a competitor as such. And often when they go through their classes, they're sort of forced into practitioner type of brands rather than other more cutting edge types of nutrition. Or people think about, well, we have hair care. I'll talk to my hairdresser. Great, but your hairdresser feels like they're the expert in hair care, so they're a competitor. How do you look for a non-competitive business? So a hairdresser. So we encourage people, for example, we work with an anti-aging collagen enhancing supplement that's good for the hair, good for the skin and all that sort of thing. And so a hairdresser does not market a collagen enhancing hair growth supplement, but they'd be interested in it because it's non-competitive. So you could talk to hairdressers about that sort of thing. If you own a dress shop, do you network with hairdressers? If there's all sorts of things. They're non-competitive things. If all sorts of different ideas. So what are complementary, if you have the same target market, how can you look for businesses that you could work a strategic alliance with and collaborate? Okay. So number 4 is to network. Network with everyone that you possibly can. They used to say that there are 6 degrees of separation between you and everyone else on the planet. Now with social media, that's compressed, really. So get out there and network with people. Shake some hands. Get to know people. If you don't feel that you're confident, then, you're going to learn on the job. You're going to practice. You'll get better just by getting out there and meeting people. And I thought that when I first read the book by Harvey Mackay called Dig Your Well Before You're Thirsty, I thought it was really insightful. Now, it was written a while ago and everything, so before the whole social media revolution and all. But Harvey's father, when he was 18, getting his first job and everything, amazing advice. His father said to him, now, with every person that you meet, swap cards and find a creative way of staying in touch. Like, in other words, stay in touch forever. Find a creative way of staying in touch for life so that you build your network, the people in business that you can communicate with. And with social media and the ways of staying in touch nowadays, it's just so much easier. It's not so hard to find a creative way of staying in touch, but do it. So number 5 is give a talk. Share what you offer. Or you might go live like this. You might go live on Facebook, do YouTube lives, record YouTube videos, start a podcast. Really simple. For example, anchor.fm. Just start a podcast right from your cell phone. It's, again, free. Give a talk, go live. So a talk, for example, volunteer. People might hate public speaking, but there's lots of different organizations that are looking for people to share their story. So take a deep breath and volunteer. Really, that is how the famous Jim Rohn, the late Jim Rohn, business philosopher, got started. He was asked to come do a speech, come tell us your story. And he told his story, and he just was asked to go and tell another story and another story and another story. And to be honest, his story was the same. His talks were the same. He just delivered his talk. So, I feel like we're always talking about new topics and coming up with new topics, whereas the famous Jim Rohn, he just delivered his information. Worldwide phenomenon, well-known person with so many people saying that he was their inspiration in personal growth. He just told his story at one place and it went from there. So where can you share your story? Where can you volunteer to talk? And if there's no one that's ready to talk, then talk and find your people. Go live. Go live on your profile and start talking. Share your thoughts. You don't want to be seen on camera? Download Anchor FM. It's a free app, and start talking to people. It's a ready-made network. Now, we can split hairs. Many people say, oh, that's not the right way to podcast, and it's blah, 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 blah. I mean, but seriously, just start. You can improve things later on. Version 1 is better than version none. Okay, so stop trying to wait for everything to be perfect. Give it a go. So also when we talk about this, give a talk, Gary Vaynerchuk, also social media and business guru, really, he says that a lot of people say to him, Gary, you say the same thing. And this is an example, isn't it? And he says, well, what do you want me to do? Make stuff up? That's my story. So, and he's asked to go all around the world and now paid huge amounts for a speaking fee and everything just to share his story because he gave it a go. He actually got up and started speaking. Now, you might not be the next Gary V, or the next Jim Rohn, but you get the principle. Just do it. Just do it. Okay, so number 6 is to create a buzz. Okay, so today, small business owners and self-employed people can do a lot without hiring professionals. Okay, but if you're not good at something, find someone who is and see whether you can do the strategic alliance. See what you can do to create a bit of excitement, a little bit of intrigue, buzz around something, clever headlines. Team up with influencers, give behind the scenes look, testimonials, create some buzz. So, let's look at this. We didn't just say marketing strategy, marketing ideas. The title of this wasn't marketing ideas. It was 12 ways to market yourself and your business on a shoestring budget. So it adds a little bit of intrigue by being clever and crafty and thinking about headlines. And so the next time, in Wise, we're going to talk about, you've heard of the S.W.O.T Team, the Special Weapons and Tactics Division, the S.W.O.T Team, S.W.O.T. But we're going to be talking about your S.W.O.T Team, S.W.O.T. So a bit of intrigue there. How can you create buzz, create some intrigue? Number 7 is ask for referrals. Don't be shy about asking customers for referrals. The majority of people would say that they're willing to provide a referral if asked, but very few just volunteer. Hey, you need to talk to my friends about what you're doing because they'd love it. And if you're asking customers for referrals, be specific about who you're looking for. Because many people think about like why they want something. Okay, so, well, I decided to do this because I have this issue and I don't know anyone with this issue. Whereas if you, as a business owner, can help people, who do you know who's a young mum and struggling with stress and sleep? Who do you know who is a high-powered executive and just really, really busy but needs quality sleep but they're not getting it? Who do you know who specifics, the more you can get specific in asking for referrals, the better. Now, also, I'll be talking about this in one of the future steps, but, giving people discounts, giving a customer a discount or a coupon or offering them a reward for sharing a referral is really, really powerful too. This is why Uber and other programs where it's like give 10, get 10, refer a friend and receive this much off your next, your next purchase or whatever, they just work really well. But again, as a business owner, you can come up with things. You can say, if you refer a friend, we'll give you this, we'll give you a rebate, or we'll do a special deal for you, or we'll offer this product for free. So don't be stingy here. If you understand the lifetime value of a customer, then you'll be willing to, give to get and be generous in what you're offering here. So number 8 is to build relationships. It's a lot less expensive to keep a customer. In the marketing and business world, they say it's a lot less expensive to keep a customer than to bring in a new one. Okay? So establishing strong relationships with your customer base is so crucial. Tap them in with the customer retention system and build relationships. An email campaign, some sort of a drip campaign, some sort of a follow-up campaign where you reach out to them, a personal service program. We are able to really build and develop that relationship and serve their needs. So even though we're in the social media and technology world, how can you be high touch in a high-tech world? How can you be like a 1950s shopkeeper that knows a person's family and all about them and yet be operating in the new millennium? How can you do that? So be high touch as well as high tech. And so a great book to read here about building relationships and the importance of this is Joey Coleman, Never Lose a Customer Again, where he talks about the systems you can put in place because really you have 100 days, his research shows, to really cement in a new client. And keep them. So that's your service. It's your ability to follow through that really makes a difference there. And so then if you keep your customers, ask for referrals, then you can ascend them up through spending more and all those sorts of things there. So, all right, number 9 is did I just do 8? 8 was build relationships. Number 9 is offer incentives. We talked about the challenge, the concept of offering incentives for referrals, offer an incentive to purchase more, offer incentives to purchase in a month, for example, if you're doing a special offer. If you do this, we'll give this. But one of the things that we had really great success with is for example, we talked. If you're on the Healthy, Wealthy, Wise show here and you listen to Healthy, we're talking about the importance of natural trace minerals. So in many, many years ago, we used to really promote a 2-for-1 offer. So we'd say, well, here's the price of the minerals, but we've got a special going right now. So it's $35 for one, but it's $50 for two. And so most people would take the two. And so what we found, though, is offering the incentives is that they weren't stingy with taking the product. So they would take the product more because they had 2 bottles and they would get better results. They'd share it around with the family. They wouldn't be just stingy and everyone would get better results and then everyone would be happy and then they'd be more of a customer for life because we weren't stingy with being willing to offer incentives. Okay, so all sorts of different ways. What can you do? You might be operating within a structure, whether it be a sales structure or an existing organization or whatever. But what can you personally do to sweeten the deal? What can you do? Okay, so think about it. Number 10 is give it away. Give it away. And it's like, oh no, don't you understand? I'm trying to market my business on a shoestring and now you want me to give stuff away? I can't afford that. Well, you can't afford not to be generous if you're not spending marketing dollars to bring in leads. So, if someone has the opportunity to experience your product or service, chances are they're going to want to purchase more. So don't be afraid to give trials, samples, a free offer, a free consultation, a 15-minute strategy session, offer things here. In today's economy, people are going to be more comfortable to purchase from you when they experience your service first, really. So in the marketing arena, really, they call that moving the free line, where, really, where sometimes people, even in the information sales arena, are giving some of their best stuff away because we're in a sharing economy. We're in where you can Google all the stuff, or you can look it up on YouTube and everything. And some people are trying to sell the same information that's available online, and sometimes not even as good. So, again, give it away. How can you offer stuff for free to develop that relationship, that bond with you? Because people do business with those that they know, like, and trust. And so, by the very fact of you being willing to give to get, there is a knowing, a liking, and a trust there. And in the Laws of Influence, written by Robert Cialdini, he would call that also the law of reciprocity kicks in. When you're willing to do something for someone else, then they're going to be more willing to do something for you. If you give away a free product, they're going to be more willing to buy the product in the future from you rather than a competitor. Okay? If you offer a free discovery session or a free analysis, whatever it is, then they're going to be more willing to come back to you. So be willing to give it away. Number 11 is be social. Be social. Yes, in person, like we talked about shoe leather and networking and everything, but social media. Social media isn't about pumping out your stuff necessarily. You meet people in real life and, through common interests or whatever, and what do you tend to say? You say, "Hi, I'm so-and-so, nice to meet you." Or you might comment on something in the environment or whatever. "Oh, I love your handbag," or I like your suit, or, something like this. Whatever. You might tend to comment about something in the environment, and a general conversation ensues. And yet we're on social media, people just seem to hammer it like this. At the moment, we're working with people on Instagram strategies to help them promote their business through Instagram, for example. And I see it all the time. I see people that, you might follow somebody that seems to have be a natural fit for what you do. And then you get a thing back saying, "Thanks for following me. Buy this, do this, and, spammy types of comments." Where's the relationship? Be social. Okay, so be social on social media. Get to know people, add value, interact, comment, reach out, network. Don't do weird stuff on social media that you really wouldn't do in real life. That being said, assertiveness counts. As far as networking goes, so I had the good fortune of hearing Joe Girard, they called him the greatest salesman in the world. It was in the Guinness Book of World Records, for example. And one of the things that he said is, similar to Harvey Mackay, he said, every person you meet, you put out your hand and you pull out a card. So it was just fascinating watching. He'd say, "Hi, my name's Joe," and he'd have his card in his other hand. So pull out your hand and pull out a card, and it's the same sort of, that's assertiveness. So on social media, your card is already there if you do a very good job at filling out your About Me section, your profiles, and all that sort of thing with some intriguing stuff, so that you're putting out your hand saying, "Hi, I'm so-and-so, nice to meet you," and they can see what you do automatically. So that in social media, doing what Joe used to do is making sure you have a very engaging bio. Say, "Hi, I'm so-and-so, here's my card." They're going to check you out there. So make sure you fill out your bio, whatever social media platform you're on, and don't be spammy. And number 12 is to create content that's shareable and adds value. Create content. So social media is certainly somewhat of a sharing economy. people are sharing this and sharing that and everything. But I ask you as a business owner, what content have you personally created to get your brand out there and for you to be known? For people to know, like, and trust you. Okay? How can you create content so that you're the one that other people share? Okay? That's free. We're talking about marketing yourself and your business on a shoestring budget here. Create content. And people then go, oh, but I don't have video software and all that sort of thing. You can start to create YouTube videos on your phone. In fact, there are channels where they even teach you to basically put the whole channel together using nothing but your phone. And chances are you have one. So stop standing for your limitations about not having a budget or whatever, and start marketing your business. Start getting out there and seeing what you can do. So hope that was helpful. That was the 12 ways to market yourself and your business on a shoestring. Well, it's been a bumper session of the Healthy, Wealthy, Wise show this particular week. It's about time that we moved on into Wise now to wrap things up. And so congratulations if you've been here for the whole show. Well done. You're an absolute legend. And so we're going to jump on into now talking about calling in the SWOT team. So yes, here in Wise, we're going to be talking about calling in the SWOT team. So if you're wanting to break through to the next level, and you're wanting to really start to get rid of all the clutter and break through all of the negativity and all that sort of thing, it's time to call in the SWOT team. And that's what we're going to be talking about in this particular session of Wise. And what do we mean? What do we mean by this calling in the SWOT team? Well, we're actually talking about the concept of the SWOT analysis. And so what's the SWOT analysis? This is the SWOT analysis here, where we look for our strengths, our weaknesses, our opportunities, and our threats. Now, the SWOT analysis is typically something that a business would do when they're looking to make an investment or looking to branch out into a new arena, or you're looking to buy a business. You do a SWOT analysis on the business. What are the strengths of the business? What are the weaknesses of the business? What are the opportunities that the business provides? What are the threats? Well, we're talking here about doing a personal SWOT analysis, where you take stock of your own strengths, your own weaknesses, your own opportunities, and your own threats. So when you look at it here, the strengths and the weaknesses are internal things. Think deeply. What are your strengths? What can you do better than others? What sets you apart from the crowd? What if people always said, you're good at that, you're good at that? List down your strengths, okay? And if you've been self-deprecating for a while and you've tended to push yourself down and say, I'm not good enough and all this sort of thing with limiting language, then it may be worthwhile sitting down with somebody that's a bit of a loving mirror, somebody that can really help you out and sort of say, hey, what do you think my strengths are? What do you see are my strengths? Somebody that's known you for a while, etc. So the strengths are internal stuff that's helpful. The weaknesses are internal stuff that's harmful. And one of those might be, like I just said, the self-deprecating habits of putting yourself down, or saying I'm not good enough, or always looking for the limitation, or or always putting the worst out. So sometimes, for example, we work through our Savvy Home Business division, we help people capitalize on trends in the wellness industry and make money from. And a lot of the times what people will do is, when they're first getting, they might give us all the benefits and all that sort of thing of what they're doing, but often down the track, they start to lay out all the problems. And it's like going to your boss and saying, well, these are all the reasons why you should fire me, but keep paying me anyway and everything. And so that's one of the weaknesses, is to focus on your weaknesses and lay them out rather than simply realize they're weaknesses and they're things that you can stretch and grow and overcome. Okay, so listing them down, though, knowing your weaknesses is really, really helpful. Now, you don't want to focus on them too much because that's part of the problem, but at least knowing how to sort of tune them down, it can be really helpful. And again, you might need to ask somebody about this. But, in the Savvy team, we've often done workshops around personal growth and personality types. And, sometimes we can see, when we do an actual analysis of our own personality, we can see weaknesses poke through there. That we really, if we know them, then we can do something about them. So I'll give you an example. We've had some people sort of say, "Oh yeah, look, that's just the way I am. I'm always loud and annoying." Okay. Well, maybe we could maybe we could think of that, and you could think about doing something about that rather than saying that's just the way I am. I'm always forgetful. I'm always late. That's just the way I am. Okay, maybe we could stretch and grow and de-optimize that weakness and create more of a strength. Okay, so what are the weaknesses that are harmful? I give up on things too soon. I don't see things through. I don't have commitment. I don't have stickability. I don't have resilience. I don't like to talk, all sorts of things. It's not harmful to take stock. You just don't want to focus on where you're not good. You want to focus on where you're good and look to improve your weaknesses. Then we look at the external things, the opportunities that are uniquely there for you and the threats that can throw you off. Okay? So really taking a good stock of that. What opportunities are existing for you right now that you're not executing upon? Okay? And so what's there in front of you that just would take some action? What threats are there that could derail your current endeavors? Really taking a stock of these is so important. And then here's the powerful thing. When you know your strengths, the question to ask yourself is, great. Knowing all of this, what's my next logical step to put these strengths into action? What can I do with these strengths to optimize my life? Okay, so what's the next logical step to put these into action would be a good question for you. The weaknesses. All right, so they're my weaknesses. What's the next logical step for me to overcome some of these weaknesses, or at least deactivate them from my focus? Opportunities. Look at all these different ideas. What's the next logical step for me to execute upon these opportunities? Threats. Okay, great. What's the next logical step to protect myself from falling into these potential potholes? What actions can I take to avoid these threats or becoming a victim to these threats, so to speak? Now, we talked about this SWOT analysis and calling in the SWOT team. If you want to break through to the next level, you need to call in the SWOT team. So the S.W.O.T SWOT team, that's the Special Weapons and Tactics Division. So when you think about it, we need some special weapons and tactics here to overcome our strengths, weaknesses, and deal with our opportunities and overcome the threats and everything. So what you actually need is a SWOT team, the S.W.O.T team. And what I mean here is that, no man is an island. So how can you surround yourself with people that can be your SWOT team, your mastermind alliance, your, people that can help you to break through using this SWOT analysis? So if you're already in a sales organization of some form, then often there's already an inbuilt infrastructure there for you to tap in with the existing support structure. But if you're in a small business, self-employed endeavor and all that sort of thing, then, you might find yourself sort of feeling a bit isolated. Well, how can you do somewhat of a strategic alliance with other business owners that you can operate like a bit of a mastermind with? Okay, so that and here's what we're looking for. So if you have strengths, how can you get people to encourage you to continue to execute upon those strengths? How can you work with other people who have other strengths and create a strategic alliance of strength and a strategic partnership to really operate on each other's strengths? Do you have somebody as part of your SWOT team that offsets your weaknesses, that can help you out with the areas that you're weak in? Robert Kiyosaki, financial guru and author, says that business is a team sport. So are you weak in some areas? And you don't need to hire staff, for example, to offset your weaknesses. It may simply be a strategic alliance, a networking alliance, a mastermind group that helps you to overcome your weaknesses or bring in tactics that can help you to grow and build upon those things that you're weak in. What about opportunities? Do you have somebody that, can you surround yourself with people that can help you to capitalize on the opportunities that are right in front of you? Or do you tend to shy away because that's way outside your comfort zone? Again, everything that you want for yourself is probably outside of your comfort zone. Because if you don't have it now, then there's something that hasn't been executed upon, which means it's outside of your comfort zone, which means it's still an opportunity, and you just might need the support to encourage you out into that, out of that comfort zone. So how can you surround yourself with people that encourage you to capitalize on the opportunities that are around you? And then there's the threats. How can you use a strategic alliance, a mastermind, a support structure, a community to help you to protect yourself from the threats? So, if we were to rewind back to our whole ancestral way of living and everything, they would operate in communities. And those who really, there was a survival of the fittest there. And so they operated in communities so that everybody had a different job, but they could offset the threats as well. And so yet today, everybody wants to be the professional at this, and they don't operate as a team. And, team, the whole acronym, we're on acronyms here, SWOT, everything. But together, everyone achieves momentum. Okay, so how can you create a mastermind alliance that helps you to power forward, achieve your goals, break through to the next level, and really stop being stopped by your stinking thinking? And one of the best ways to really to grow personally yourself, apart from being part of a strategic mastermind or support structure or community or whatever, is to just take a check of the information that goes in your head. So we encourage you to do a bit of a 30-day Wake and Be Savvy challenge. Now, on the Healthy, Wealthy, Wise show, we have covered the Be Savvy, the Wake and Be Savvy concept. And so you can look that up and everything. But the 30-day Wake and Be Savvy challenge is really about wiping out all the negative stuff and making sure that you wake up and put yourself in the right, put yourself to work in the right way first thing in the morning. And it's not by reading these sorts of books here. So, embrace your failure. You're fine. 10 steps to avoid total collapse. I love some of these books here. The 7 habits of losers like you. I'm not okay and you're even worse. You can't do it, so don't even try. Building toward average. How you can keep muddling on and sleep through life. It doesn't matter anyway. Now, that might seem ridiculous to have those books, but chances are you have had some of those negative self-talk moments going through your head. Right there. They're some of the limiting thinking, the limiting thoughts that pass through your mind. So we need to eliminate them. We need to start, you'll want to start working on ways to get rid of those weaknesses, that stinking thinking, and start looking to optimize what you've been given and really, power forward to achieve your goals. So we've got heaps more that I'd like to talk about as far as that goes, but that really definitely brings us in for a landing as far as the Healthy, Wealthy, Wise show and the wise part of things. So that was dealing with the SWOT. Call in the SWOT team. How do you do a SWOT analysis and then create a mastermind alliance around all of these things? So look, congratulations for being with us this far in the Healthy, Wealthy, Wise show. We look forward to really sharing with you more and more tips through this regular show. And so, if you're really looking to optimize your well-being or improve your lifestyle in some way, then we can definitely help. So reach out to us, become part of the community, jump on into the Healthy, Wealthy, Wise group as a starter. I think you'll be glad you did. There's just so much support there for you that there's just no excuse for you not to have that mastermind alliance around you. So that's it from me today. It's Corey Sievers here with the Healthy, Wealthy, Wise show, encouraging you to be savvy in everything you do. So all the best, and we will catch you again on the next show. Cheers.